Wait.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's up?
What's
Oh,
up?
hey, I think we're live. Oh,
You're right there. And
you're
hey,
right here. Okay.
so
Hey,
stupid.
yeah, pay attention.
What's
Pay
up, man?
attention. Pay attention. We're on. We're on.
We're on.
People are paying good money for this, Shane.
I know.
They didn't come on just to watch us talk to each other.
They really come on for this.
Here comes Cryptoholics. We got Bigfoot in the woods. We got aliens in the sky. We got ghosts in the attics. Here comes Cryptoholics.
Fighting too below.
Oh, shit, man.
Dude, that just never gets old, though.
How's he do that? How's he?
I don't know, man. I just remember
What
how
the
we
hell?
all looked at him like he was crazy. Because that was like our first time out
That
with
was
him.
our first time that we experienced Tim's laughter, his real
Yeah.
laughter.
I know.
He had
I
us
just remember
stopped.
staring at him. I didn't know if we should like give him mouth to mouth or what was going on there.
I wasn't gonna do that. I don't know.
I was gonna let him die. To be honest with you. So
Would have made Gary Spikes Jr. if he was there to
Gary would have saved him. Gary would have saved him.
He probably would have happily done it.
What you sipping on there, buddy?
Oh, this right here, sir, is just some good old whiskey and water
Mm-hmm.
in my Planters peanut whiskey glass.
Okay.
So, Kendall, I'm supporting your company, sir. I mean, not the product.
Not the contents of said glass, but the glass.
Mhm.
So I was going to visit the old Chick-fil-A today, but there was about 467 cars in the drive-through line.
Really?
Yeah. So I had to go for the old Panda where there was like 4. So
I like
it's all right.
Panda.
I eat Panda all the time. I get made fun of for eating Panda. So,
What?
yeah. I go there about once a week. So
Shame on those people that make fun of you for that.
it's kind of embarrassing.
Ugh.
Live. Yeah, we're live. All right.
Oscar the Otter. All right, so Warworks. Oh, okay. He's from Warworks. That's the production of Elder Brother. That's who produced it.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's an Warworks production.
Okay, cool.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So speaking of that, we got Chase. I met Chase in Jefferson.
Yeah.
He was there in Jefferson, and he came up. And he just, young man just came up and started talking, and I was like, oh, I like this dude. Like, he like wants to talk and made eye contact and wasn't weird.
What? That really happens? What? Somebody
Well,
like weird?
that specific trip to Jefferson is on the books.
Oh, it was that trip.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So there was a positive.
So there was some
That-
light in that dark, dingy ass tunnel. So,
Hmm.
and it was Chase.
Man.
And then he like hit us up to go to League City, right? And he shot this movie that I liked it personally.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice and artsy and he's got the stories in there. But you know what? And it's all based off of real accounts and whatnot, which I like that part, because a lot of these people put out some stuff just to put out stuff.
Yeah.
So, you want to bring Chase on?
Yeah. Oscar said we're doing God's work. I don't know, Oscar. God's work might be a little bit of a stretch for Shane and I, but
Hey, wait a second, man.
Some work.
My last name is Church. I'm just kidding, dude.
Oh,
I know that's horrible.
all right. I'm just gonna shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah, Robert.
Yeah, Chase is good people. Let's bring Chase on. I'm gonna bring Chase on, dude.
Let's do it.
What up, dude?
Folks,
What's up, man?
how you doing, man?
There he is, man. I just saw this guy on my TV.
Oh. Yeah. We're in the film.
Yes.
We just put it out not too long ago on YouTube, just for everybody to see. So
I really love the and I told you this before this talking now that I really like the aspect ratio. You went old school, and for me, it was very nostalgic.
Yeah.
we actually made that decision about like the night before actually going to Jefferson to film, and one of my good friends and filmmaking partners and our cinematographer both kind of had been like, I think we need to go 4-3, and we kind of shot some test footage and looked at it, and it was the obvious choice right away, and it kind of made it more cinematic, and it kind of feels like there's curtains on the side of the screen.
Mhm.
You're able to hide certain things and kind of make it feel a little bit more claustrophobic and not know what's around corners and whatnot. So, and it's just all the old Bigfoot films are in that aspect ratio. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Legend of Boggy Creek. Yeah, you're right, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even watch that till we were about done making it. I would remember seeing parts of it when I was a kid, and I was like, you know what? Once I think I was like, it's kind of the reimagining of the same concept of that movie because
Mhm.
they're all based on actual events, but kind of some
Mhm.
of them are it's all cinematic, and it's kind of
Mhm.
kind of feels like a documentary at points, but then doesn't, you know what I mean? And so I kind of knew what the movie was, but I didn't want to have that be at the forefront before. So I kind of watched it after I was pretty much finished with the first edit, and I was kind of glad I didn't because it probably would have intimidated me or what, because it's an awesome movie. I
Yeah,
mean,
it probably would have changed your movie a little bit too.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
kind of
could have.
similar in that aspect.
Yeah, could have influenced you one way or the other.
Mhm.
man, it's great though. Yeah, it's yeah, that one, yeah. The that kid running through the field at the beginning and stuff with the howling and all that, like the opening of it, I was like
Yeah,
totally in immediately.
that really sets the stage right there, doesn't it?
Right.
Man. So, what prompted you to make this, man? Like, do you have any encounter, or have you
Well,
encountered anything, or?
I was always really interested as a kid because I had my grandfather, my uncle, and my aunt, and kind of everybody around there. We grew up in Orange, Texas, right on the border of Louisiana, and all of our family are hunters and outdoorsmen, and you know what I mean. We always, when we were real little, they would tell stories of either the Yeti or the Lobo in the woods and whatnot, and us running around and stuff. So that always stuck with me. And then whenever I got into like intermediate school and in the school library, that's you had AR points and whatnot, and I always was reading every book on Bigfoot or anything I could find because it was just, to me, it's like the most insanely interesting thing. And you know what I mean? If there is actually a giant humanoid, walking around in the woods.
Mhm.
So I was always interested in that. But then, I kind of grew up and it was always still kind of enjoyed the subject and whatnot. But one of my good friends and producing partners called me up one night and it's like, yo, we need to make a film about a guy who's obsessed with Sasquatch and whatnot. And immediately, like the second he said it, I had been waiting. Like we've made a bunch of documentaries and short films and stuff together, and we've kind of been looking for the thing to make a first feature on. And right when he said it, it was like the bulb went off, and I just started flooding with all the possibilities of what could
Hey,
be.
so that beginning part, right? Like you've kind of got like this indigenous
Mhm.
feel, like these. It looks like young Native
Yeah,
Americans are running, and
right.
so is that like your character's like inner wildness starting to come
Yeah, I mean,
towards
yeah, you
the
could definitely see
forefront?
it like that. It's definitely open to interpretation and kind of, you know what I mean? And that's kind of, I'd love to hear what different people thought of that opening.
Well, that was mine right there. I just gave
Yeah,
you mine.
hey, I love that because I didn't even like think about that much, and it actually, it totally makes sense. But the crazy thing is, my first ever idea I can remember, like as a kid, having of like a film that I would want to see, was a film where almost like a wordless like film where Native Americans are running around in the woods encountering Sasquatch, and just like the cinematic possibilities of that, like because that's what always kind of blows me away is most of the films or things that are made on Sasquatch are such kind of goofy films, like you know what I mean? Like most of them are really horror films and
Mhm.
B movies, you know what I mean? And like
Mhm.
they nothing that really took it seriously, I mean, it's such like a subject that's kind of a lot of people blow off, you know what I mean, like, and just think it's really goofy, but it's such a crazy thing when you've talked to so many people who have had encounters and stuff, you know what I mean, that talk to them with their face and they're not lying, you know what I mean. So to me, I was like, and just a lover of film and wanting to make film, like it's like this is like a mine that hasn't been dug. You know what I mean? That nobody has really kind of, besides like Boggy Creek, or there's a few like examples in there that are great films, you know. But not like there was one that I could kind of see in my head that hadn't been made. So that was kind of the.
I was watching it, and like just the way you have some of the shots set up, I was almost expecting like a Tarantino type of conversation to come up, or something, like the dialogue to be. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it, dude.
Yeah, the dialogue, it was always trying to kind of just get people talking as much as we could, you know what I mean, and just edit from there and use all of the, make it feel as real as possible, you know what I mean, because even though it's a narrative film and it's, you know what I mean, it is telling a story, and but those are real people, you know, telling their stories at the same time, and honest people, you know.
And I got a question about that too. So when you went into this thing, I'm sure that you had an idea of where you stood on believing if this thing is real or not. Did any of that change for you once you got to meet some of these people and do the interviews? Or did that sway you one way or another?
Yeah, I've always kind of believed, like since I was younger, you know, I mean, just from it being at such a young age and whatnot. But once I started, when my friend called me that night and was like, "Yo, we need to make this picture," and I immediately was like, "Yes." I started doing research, you know what I mean, and reading every encounter and account that I could find. And after about, like, I've read thousands at this point, you know what I mean, over the last 3.5, 4 years, or however long, like when we started doing this. And like somewhere in like the first like few months of reading those, I was like pretty sure there's just too much evidence, and a few different videos on footprints and like how hard it would be to fake and where they are, and just everything, you know what I mean? It kind of, but definitely when I, at this point through the whole process of making the film, I think I've met over 25 people who have had like first hand sighting, like seeing it in front of them. And yeah, I mean, that completely changes you when you're talking to someone who has no BS for you and is you know, being completely honest, and you can tell.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the interview because Brian and I talked to this gentleman and his wife. He hunts mule elk.
Yeah, just elk in Colorado, right?
Yes, in Colorado. And he's got this spot where he has to hike like 4 hours to get to. I think is that something like that?
Yeah,
something like that, right?
Yeah, it's 4
pretty
hours for sure. So.
Oh my God! And just being out there in that isolation, and then the friend of his that got slapped in the foot by the Sasquatch, and when he said it ran off, it sounded like Curly.
He's not here right now live. I think he's.
That was.
He already commented in the chat. Yeah, he's here.
That was outstanding, man.
Yeah, he's related to you, right?
Well, Todd, who's in it, is my uncle. Yes.
Okay.
And that's his good friend, and they've been friends for, you know, their entire life, like since they were teenagers, and been hunting for that long. And they'd never. There he is.
Yeah.
No, they had never seen anything for what, I mean, like 40, 50 years or something being out there, you know what I mean? Only I think in 2017 was the first thing they had ever come after being in the woods, you know, their entire lives. And still, I mean, they're very like rational outdoorsmen, and still, I mean, they've had, I mean, to me, like of the things, I mean, I've talked to them a lot, you know, and of the things I've heard, I mean, probably 35 different things, you know what I mean, that are pretty, I mean, obvious exactly what is happening. And he's still very rationally, hey, I don't
Curly.
Shane and I are still waiting for an invite to go meet Curly.
We would love to meet Curly.
I went to Colorado during the summer for a little solo trip, did some camping and stuff like that. I think I was gone, Shane, like 4 days or something like that. So I had a great time. But yeah, I would love to go meet Curly. So whenever that ever could happen, I'd appreciate it.
We've been talking about planning that for a while. We may have to get something together.
Dude, I will sign something that says I will not give away that location, or you can
put a tow sack over my head.
Because apparently it's about 7 hours of hiking. You know what I mean?
I'm down.
How remote?
Yeah,
they said it is.
I'm never gonna find the place again. So
Yeah, I mean, they have some insane accounts, and like I said, they treat everything like a hunter. You know what I mean? Finding evidence, and they know how to track. You know, they're always looking. You know, their eyes are in the right spot. They know what's out of place. So it's a good perspective to have for somebody that's looking into that and not really biased either. You know what I mean? Because they still don't like he. It's very rarely that you hear he doesn't ever really say that he won't never call Sasquatch. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Call it a Sasquatch or anything. He's still. They're both very like still being really rational about it and kind of you know.
Man, that's a tough battle right there mentally
it
for
is. It is.
those guys. I mean,
He always says, just like in the movie, it always, when they found the track, it was different because the track was on top of this, like, I mean, they're 7 or 8 hours out there, you know what I mean? It said you really don't see another hunter out there, you know what I mean? They've been going there for 30 something years. And
There it is.
yeah,
There
yeah,
it is.
it's very top, and where they camp, it's like you can sit right on top and watch them right down. And he said he was just up there that one morning when they found that track. He was like, because everything else can kind of be, you hear a tree fall next to you, you know what I mean? You see something like big and large moving up, you know what I mean? You can kind of, all the different things you can say that it is, you know, once you find, you know, a large human track in the middle of nowhere, you know what I mean? Completely just printed in where no one could go. And, you know,
Well, there's just something about finding a track too, you know. Shane and I have been through this, and
Ghost tracks are the best.
yeah, and it's
I've ever
something.
seen, man.
I appreciate that, and it's something. The Adidas, and it is something that really messes with you. You know what I mean? And some people look at these tracks and they take them for granted, but when you're in the woods and you actually see that, like, you know, and I'm sure Shane will agree with me, like it really does put you in a weird spot. You know what I mean? Because you're seeing real evidence, you know. And like for Shane, he's been searching for this thing and hasn't had the I guess the luck yet to actually encounter one face to face, right? So he's still just when he sees the track, he's imagining how big this thing must be, you know. And even for me, since I was fortunate enough to see one, you know, in 2018. So I don't know, it's still a weird feeling, you know what I mean? It's just because it's something that doesn't exist, you know, and you're seeing it. So
Man, when I'll be honest, yeah, when I walked into that first convention and I saw you guys, you know, there and saw your tracks, like they were such good quality like tracks, but it was so big, like, and I had never seen a track like in person, you know what I mean? That I didn't like, my brain didn't like think that it can be this big, you know what I mean? Like to be like this large. And it was, I don't know, that was one of the real moments for me because we had just, you know, drove many hours, you know, to get there the night before and got everything set up. And it was like our first day of shooting and stuff. And walking in there and seeing that, it was just, you know, I mean, made it all real. And every time you're out there in the woods, like deep somewhere shooting is, you know, really makes you have your head on a swivel.
It does. Yeah. I mean, it just changes everything, you know, because I mean, you just
I don't even know if I brought this when we came. So, you know, I made I poured rubber silicone over one of the tracks from 2020. So when I pulled this off, I'd always noticed like this thing in the bottom of the foot, and you know, it looked like a hole, like, you know, it could have stepped on something. But man, I don't know if you can see that. Look, do you see that little point?
Yeah.
I mean, that's either a rock or a stick that went into that thing's foot.
Oh man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like, you know, when you're on just like this right here, like you can push in on and if this was in mud and you went like this, then it would leave that as the impression, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's that big, but it's organic.
Yeah. You don't get that with
and then it has a big like a lump or like a big callus on it.
Yes.
On one of the toes.
No, on the heel, there's a callus on the heel. Brian has one, and then that was in 2018, and then a year later, Bill cast the same thing, the same individual, as they say, had that same callus. And then there's another guy that cast tracks out there before we even started.
Yeah, that's
going
what's
out
crazy.
there.
Before we even found the place.
And he's got that same foot with the callus. I mean,
It's pretty
Yeah, and I
wild.
think his
that's
tracks
wild.
were they 2 years before our
I
first
think
set?
so. Yeah.
Or when was
They
our
were
first
1 or 2 years before us.
13? So I think he was 15 or 16, somewhere around there is when he got his. So yeah, it's insane. So
Yeah, tracks are really kind of one of those one of those things that really do like change it for you, because like he said, everything else can be kind of washed out. It's not physical evidence. Even like hair could be some other animal. You could see one from far away. It could be a bear. It's like whatever, you know what I mean? Like one of those. I mean, in certain spots, especially, and just there's so many different factors about. Oh, smell.
I was waiting to see if he was gonna notice.
Me too. I was like, hi.
There's different factors that that it's like one guy said on a documentary. He said it's like something from nature, like a pine cone or something. That like the further you study it, the more real it proves itself to be. Like, you know what I mean? Anything in nature is like that, and a bunch of those tracks are just the further you go, like the more it it proves to be real.
Man.
Yeah.
So are you going to plan on going out in the woods anytime soon? And
Yeah, I'm actually. I mean, from all of it, I mean, I kind of. Hold on. I mean, obviously, like the whole thing. Like I'd love to. I want to see one. I want to know, like, with proof that it's real too. But I'm honestly with some people's experiences and stuff, and like the stuff I've seen. I'm not that anxious to like see one close up or like you know what I mean. Like it feels like it'd be a pretty intense experience.
yeah,
It was for me. That's for sure. So
yeah. I don't even really know your story. Can you?
you know what? At the time, Brian couldn't talk about
I
it
couldn't
because
tell you.
we
We
were
was under
contract.
contract with that.
Oh, really?
That one network. So yeah, we couldn't. Yeah, I'll have to talk
Oh,
to you.
you're gonna. Yeah, you got a certain. Okay.
Well, I'm off. We're out of contract now. That ended.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm able to talk about it or do anything now. But yeah, we'll get together one day and I'll tell it to you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'll just.
I loved how you did all
now.
that.
I'll just get all into it and we'll be here.
You said it was in
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, 2018. So
Dang. Man, so yeah, it probably still feels pretty fresh. I'm sure, like even though it's been a little bit.
I'll never forget it.
Man, and I left that. Man.
You didn't get to make. Okay.
Yeah, Shane left the day before.
Really?
Yeah, and old Timmy and I stayed behind, and it's just one of those right place, right time. So
That's all.
Yeah, I mean that's how it always seems like it seems to be for anybody that does have one.
Yeah. I didn't have any. And this guy's talking about mind speak. I didn't have anything like that happen to me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've only talked to. I'm trying to think. I've had a few people that talked about it going completely silent, but only one person that said they kind of felt like they were at a him and his girlfriend were camping, and he said like it just seemed like everything. He didn't think it was like what a lot of people I've heard describe, like whenever things go silent, whenever they have an encounter, they think it's like most of the animals and the nature like being quiet. But he said it was definitely like he felt like his almost being like closed off from like his own sound, like it was controlling his perception to hear everything around him. So it wasn't like everything actually shut up. It just. So I don't know either one, but that's the only guy I've talked to. And I don't think he actually had any words or anything, but it was like a very kind of experience where he said they could see the large silhouette of it standing about 20 feet away, right on the tree line, like wherever they were camping, and that it kind of enclosed them in almost like a bubble, like in terms of what they're sensing.
Yeah. Mine was a little different because I was with somebody, so we were able to converse during it, but everything did go super silent.
Mm-hmm.
It went from birds chirping, wind. I mean, it just seemed like, and maybe it's just because you're so zeroed in on it. You know what I mean? Maybe you're super focused on what you're seeing that you're just, it's still loud, but you're just so intense on that sleep, seeing something that's not real. Right. and so maybe your brain is just overloaded with trying to comprehend that. So
That's what I'm saying. I think your perception, yeah, because even I think if you prepared yourself for it, I've heard a lot of like veterans and people who have had active duty experience that said it was more. They thought it was a more intense experience seeing this thing than having bullets shot at them. So
I've had bullets shot at me. I
a
wasn't
lot
in
of
the military.
people, saying that.
I grew up on the South Side, so bullets shot at me a few times. And that's pretty intense. But yeah, I didn't really think about it like that. I was probably more focused on the Bigfoot than I ever was about the bullets being shot at me. So that is kind
Right.
of yeah.
And I think just if you're somebody that doesn't think that exists at all, you know what I mean? If you're like, if that doesn't enter your sphere of like what could be real, and then you see it, like that's a particular kind of traumatic experience, I feel like.
And that kind of goes back to what I asked you earlier about, are you more of a believer now than you were before you started? Because when we got into this thing, I was strictly 50-50. You know, I was just like, maybe, probably not, and then the more and more we got into it, we were so hung up, I think, in the beginning of, debunking everything, like, oh, that's got to be this. Oh, that's got to be that. We weren't really open to the idea of it being Bigfoot. We were more into the idea of it that can't be Bigfoot. And so in hindsight, I think maybe we missed some opportunities, in that first year, maybe. I don't know, Shane, if you agree or not, but I think maybe we missed some things because we were so busy of trying to find solid proof that we could take to somebody who is totally out of the community and say, this is what we have, and them look at it and go, okay, this must exist, right? There were probably things that we've seen and heard early on that if we would have presented to the community, they would have been right on board with it. Yeah, that's definitely Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And I think once we started getting evidence, then we started just kind of focusing on other things. But yeah, for me, like I was saying earlier, starting out 50-50, of course, I'm 100%, knower, now, right? Because that's the groups, right? So that's why I was asking you earlier, like where this led you, on that journey. So.
Yeah, I definitely haven't had, not to my knowing experience, you know what I mean? Every time I'm, right. But, yeah, I feel like I'm about as confident as you can be without seeing one, especially if you research it, if you really spend like time looking into it, it's pretty obvious, you know what I mean? Like it's all, but a lot of governments completely, you know what I mean? That's in like Canadian paperwork in some places, like, yo, if you see one.
Yeah, back off. Back off, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you said? I don't know.
Yeah. And we know that, and I it seemed like we were just talking about conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff. Was it our last show or show before? And I said, I don't want to be this big conspiracy theorist.
I thought it was last show.
Yeah, it might have been.
Show.
And, but Shane and I experienced where we had a government official not wanting us to disclose information on something that was solid, right?
Yeah.
And with the lion picture that we talked about before.
It wasn't even Bigfoot, right?
It wasn't even Bigfoot. It was just a true African lion that was roaming loose, and we caught it on game camera. And he was like, hey, don't put this on social media. Don't cause panic. So I could see why a government official would not want you to talk about a Bigfoot, right?
Oh yeah.
And you'd get, 50,000, wackadoodles or whatever running around the woods shooting at each other.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so we held on to that picture for
a while,
a year plus, probably.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I think we released it once there was a straight up lion in the middle of 35.
Yeah, once the deal on the police scanner deal came out, there was a lion on I-35 in the center median. We were like, okay, that's gonna be her, So we'll go ahead and show our picture. But yeah, we have an excellent photo of a female lion just stalking a longhorn cattle. So yeah, it was
that was wild.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
wild.
Yeah, that'll make you put your head on a swivel when you're in the woods for sure. So
yeah, I've heard multiple stories about really large, like Black Panthers around even like Texas and stuff around that people have seen. Big ones, you know what I mean? So,
where was I at? I was down there in Toledo Bend. reservoir area, Texas side. You know, I was kind of going around the gas station and stuff. Not very many, you know, gas stations or whatnot around there. And, you know, I was giving away cards like, hey, you know, if you've seen Bigfoot, which they did have a sighting there last summer. An old man saw one in the summertime, which I thought was pretty unique.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody I talked to were like, no, I don't know about that, but we know about them Black Panthers. And I'm like,
Right.
So there must be a slew of Black Panthers now in the Toledo Bend Reservoir.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
That's
So 3 near Walika. Are we talking about Black Panthers or are we talking about Bigfoot? So
I think he's talking about Black Panthers.
okay.
Yeah, he was telling me once about when he was getting done with a hunt at like right when it was getting near dusk, and he was coming down the trail. They go down there, and one came right across cleared the whole road, pretty much like old dirt country road. You know what I mean? Just right in front of the headlights. So pretty wild. But
mountain lion.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Seen mountain lions.
Oh yeah, mountain lions, hogs. We've had bear track.
Yeah.
From the camp, right by Brian, because you know that's when he was keeping all the little Debbie snacks.
Yeah.
Close,
Matter of fact, I have the cast of that bear track, not the little Debbie's. I done ate all of them, but yeah. So there's my bear that was outside my tent. I don't know if you can see it. So yeah, that was pretty cool to wake up to. So.
And we like to bring that with us too, because you know how the folks like to say,
yeah.
Well, that's just where a bear double steps.
Yeah, that's just
you can
bear
put
track
like,
you guys got.
You can put like 8 to 10 of those bear tracks in one of these.
Yeah, these are Oklahoma black bear. They're small. You know, like you could take one of them in a fist fight. You know what I mean? This isn't a grizzly that we're talking about. So
exactly.
Yeah, that the size of those tracks really did kind of blow me away the first time I saw that.
We've gotten some slack for them, especially the 20-inch.
Yeah.
Is that it's large or what?
Well, here's the deal, man. Is you know, you've got scientists like Meldrum, and they've got a whole collection of all these tracks that he deems real and or fake, or however he's come up with that. Yeah, he's a professional in what he does, and he understands the anatomy, but we still don't have that live specimen at all. We don't have nothing. We have zero. So a lot of people deem Meldrum's data set as the holy grail of the subject matter when it comes to tracks, and I think that's 100% wrong. I don't think you should think like that.
Yeah, I agree.
The conclusion that he's come doesn't seem accurate to me at all, like what they think it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And the problem I have with it is, and I'm going to say it for what it is, and I'll probably catch a lot of crap for this, but when you have Meldrum and you have him backed with Cliff Brackman, however you say his name, and those two guys monetize hugely on those tracks and that data set, right? Like their life revolves around that. So for them, they have to validate each other in order to capitalize on any kind, or monetize, I guess I should say, on anything that they can in the Bigfoot world. Shane and I aren't monetizing on anything,
right?
You know, so we can collect these tracks and we can show them to you, and we could come to you, Chase, and say, hey, this is what we think, this is Bigfoot, and you could tell us to our face, I think this is fake, this ain't real. Shane and I aren't losing any money over that, right?
Exactly.
Our show isn't getting canceled. We're not being booked for anything. We don't have books being published and we're autographing. None of that. We don't have anything to gain or lose by doing that. We probably have more to lose than gain if you think about it, because we catch so much grief about it sometimes. And it's got us into this huge feud with Cliff in the past and stuff like that, and other people. But those guys, I don't know, that to me, with them two teamed up like that and them two always kind of trying to validate each other on things that they find, it makes me a little suspect. So, and I've had my issues with Meldrum, and I've had them since 2017. I've yet to get hair sample. I can go on and on about that deal. So,
oh, hey, here's that what we were talking about. There's that lion.
There she is.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah.
So the picture before this was a longhorn running this way. And it's within the same minute and on the same day.
Yeah.
And the ears pinned back and the head's aligned with the spine. That is hunt mode.
Yeah.
Dang.
She's about to eat.
So Chase, think about checking the camera and then going, oh.
Yeah, looking over your shoulder.
What in the hell am I doing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the man. I've like heard too much at this point. You know what I mean? I've kind of like, kind of the woods are a different place now. You know what I mean? Once you know certain things. That was another thing. It was like just the movies about, you know what I mean? Of just all the different things that happen out there that we don't know. You know what I mean? Because you just go look at Google Earth or drive around and, I mean, look at how much Earth still, you know what I mean? Like how much, especially in the northern part of the United States and just all over, how much is still wide open.
I mean, there's so much untouched land, you know, even Southeast Oklahoma, there's hundreds of thousands of acres that are, you know, you could just walk forever and not run into anybody. So I don't know why people think it's so unbelievable that something could stay there. And
everybody's in their concrete jungle box.
They're all insulated and
I'm going to work and then I'm gonna come home and get Uber Eats and
maybe go to the mall.
Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, drop my ass in the woods, far away from all you people.
Yeah, exactly.
That was one of the ones that you know, I mean, because you can talk to people, to other people, like someone's account who's wanted to see Bigfoot for a long time and then seen one is, you know what I mean? They can, you know, that you wanted to see it, you know, you can say all kinds of different things about the psychology of it. But when you talk to a few different people, you know what I mean, who had never thought about it at all, you know what I mean? See it. And those are the ones that really were kind of crazy and almost like serendipitous, or like it was like you met them at the exact right moment, you know what I mean? Because the day we were trying to figure out, because we wanted the majority of the film is set at a convention, you know what I mean? And so that's what we kind of went to the first one in Jefferson to kind of see what it was like and see. We didn't know if they were going to let us film, which they really didn't inside the convention. You know what I mean? Because I mean, obviously, because you know it's all kinds of stuff. But and it was right after COVID and stuff, kind of right when people were going back and stuff. And we also didn't want the film to have like anybody in masks or anything. You know what I mean? And just like have that be a part of it. And like so,
definitely dated. So
it was a weird time. Like it was
That would have made that aspect ratio look even more odd because everybody's wearing masks.
Yeah.
Why was everybody wearing masks in the 90s?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. We kind of, I mean, halfway through, we had kind of talked about making it more of a period piece or like more set in the 90s, or because I feel like the early 90s and the 70s, I guess through 80s, all kind of feel like prime Bigfoot history, or, you know what I mean? Just time where it was a huge thing in the culture. But we ended up just kind of not, you know what I mean, kind of leaving out just certain aspects of modern day with certain technologies and certain fashion, or, you know, I guess it's the way, you know what I mean, just kind of bringing it back a little bit more where it felt like people relied on talking to each other more than they do now, or, you know, in person, and kind of didn't have all the distraction of everything, you know. So so we kind of really went there to kind of look at that convention and see what, you know, how, because after that we were definitely pretty sure that we were going to have to put on our own convention and just shoot at it for a day and a half, you know what I mean, and just shoot everything we could like there for 2 days. And so whenever I was going to look at the place for the first day of where we were going to potentially, you know, shoot it, which was at the it's like a veterans hall, you know. And once I got there and stuff, it was just perfect. They had we had a bar scene that we were going to have to find another location. They had a bar in the other room. It's a completely separate thing. It's a full, like, just looks like a great 80s, 90s Texas straight up. Had the boxes and neon signs and just everything else that you would expect from way back then. So that was already perfect. And then the bartender, the woman who was working there, to like show me, to like walk me through, to show me the actual hall where we could have the convention. Once I got in there, it was absolutely perfect and just kind of had everything we wanted. And I was just like, oh man, this is beautiful. And so she turned to me and asked me, like, what are you guys making, or what are you shooting, or so, you know what I mean? And I kind of like, you know what I mean? It's always a funny subject to bring up with just a random person, you know, like, oh, well, it's about, you know, like Sasquatch encounters, you know, kind of like laughing.
What?
Like, froze and look at me for about 7-8 seconds. And I was like, I had to break the silence. Is everything all right? And so, you know what I mean? And it took her, it took her like 10 seconds of trying to figure out how to say it. She was like, she was like, I don't know how to like say it, but like, I've like seen something. And that's all she would like say. And I was just like, what do you mean? I was like, holy cow. Like, you know, that's crazy. I was like, oh man, you got to tell me and stuff. And she was very much just like, oh no, didn't want to really say anything, but and it was really kind of awkward for her. And I tried to, you know what I mean? And I was just like, wow, that kind of blew me away. And I knew it was the right spot. So we booked the spot there. And I kept trying to get like going back there to shoot test stuff, and they would let us come in and kind of measure stuff and figure out where we were going to place stuff and kind of how we were going to shoot things. And every once in a while I'd like kind of see her and, you know, ask her, but she, you know, I mean, it was still kind of wouldn't tell too much, but and she definitely didn't want to be on camera. You know what I mean? So.
Oh man, you could have done like that old school, you know, keep her in the dark silhouette with a hard dark voice, like I saw him, or you know,
the Skyler voice. Use my little mixer.
The crazy thing was, and I actually discovered like that like night while I was like laying there trying to fall asleep. I was like, oh man, because the first of the movie you're supposed to have, you know, how it was scripted and stuff. There's a experience, you know, with Native Americans and whatnot at the beginning. And he makes a trip in, he kind of gets set up and stuff, and it shows kind of the mundaneness of like waiting and, you know, everything. And like, and then he gets his first encounter, and you're never supposed to see the person. You're only supposed to see his reaction to their story the whole time. And it was going to be an actress telling an account, like pretty much word for word of a woman's tale of her and her husband and her friend seeing it by like, well, she went to go brush her teeth while they were like playing cards at the campfire, and like walked down, and it was like right there in front of her. They all ran down to the car, and we're in the car and saw the headlights hit, and it walked right across in front of them. And so that was the deal. But then like that night I was like, oh man, the deal is I just get her to tell me the story, and I get my own reaction with her in the spot, because you were never supposed to see the woman in the first place. And so I was like, oh man, it works so much better, you know what I mean? And so we waited so long, and the night before, like all y'all got there and we had the convention and stuff, she got done with like a 3-hour shift, and I waited like overtime just to like, she got off, and finally she was just like exhausted, like smoking a cigarette, and was like, all right, I'll tell you.
That's when you get the best story right there, man.
Exactly. And it was incredible, you know what I mean? And she's always, I mean, she was just with her family, and that's the first one in the movie, walking, and you know what I mean? Saw it, you know what I mean? Right there. She thought it was part of a tree at first, and then it started moving and walking back.
Wow.
Ran to her family, and her family has always never really believed her at all, just all laughed at her, just blew it off. Like, and it's, you know what I mean? It's a traumatic experience to see something like that, and no one in her life. And she didn't really want to talk about it, you know what I mean? And that's the kind of the other thing I think about so many times, is how many people have had that experience, because then, you know, I mean, that kind of flips your world upside down.
There's a lot of people out there like that haven't even mentioned even just this brief.
I found that most of them, like, I mean, I've had about half and half that's most that don't want to be on camera. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard some really good stories and stuff, but you know what I mean? They just weren't really part of being a film. And so pretty wild.
Did we have a clip to show?
What's that?
Did we have a clip?
Yeah. Oh, I've got Chase's.
Yeah. Oh, like I'm gonna be all Jimmy Fallon on it. Like, do we have a clip of the show?
Hang on, man.
The link in the.
I've got it up already.
Yeah, I thought Shane had it.
You can,
yeah.
Show a little bit.
So while Shane's doing that, Chase, I'm gonna ask you, are we gonna be looking at more Bigfoot things that you'll be doing, or is this like a one and done? Are you moved on to other things, or?
Yeah, it's kind of a collective of filmmakers and friends, you know what I mean, that we've been making films together for about a decade. And that's our company's Warworks, you know what I mean? And we're have 5 different filmmakers, you know what I mean, that work, and we kind of each kind of help each other make our films, and we each kind of have our own, like, we'll kind of head a story, you know what I mean? So we're kind of always, all of us, working on building our own feature film up and helping the other one, or helping the other guys, you know, build theirs at the same time. So
Gotcha.
we're in the middle of a film right now that's shot by my good friend Adam Vinsel, who's the cinematographer on this picture. And we are, we're a good ways through making that one right now. But I do have, I've already written and storyboarded and made like animatic reels for the second film. But
all right.
But it does require a much more substantial budget than, like, this was designed and made to be made for like pretty much nothing, you know what I mean? Like, as much as you can possibly, because I mean, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to really, there's not, you know, not much you really need to, you can catch it in talking to people and filming outside, you know, all your locations are free, you know what I mean? Like, it was the perfect film for all of us to make something that we really wanted to make and that we thought could be good, but that we wouldn't have to spend that much film on.
That is true. I totally agree with that statement.
That's Ernie from the film on there. Ernie, that's
Ernie, man.
When we went to Jefferson the first time, Adam, who I'm talking about, our cinematographer, he was walking out the door. We didn't know Ernie or anything, but he was talking to one of his friends about the video, and he said, "Yeah, man, because tits don't lie," you know what I mean? He came back and told us, and we all laughed, and it's so true. You know what I mean? Patty, that is kind of one of the details that really sets it apart, you know?
Yeah.
And
don't get Brian.
Yeah, so that's like the name of
our, don't get me started on the Patterson Gimlin film.
What is this right here? Oh, this right here.
Curly's
we need
Canyon.
To follow up. Curly's Canyon.
I want to go in that cave.
Oh man, he's trying to get me out there all the time, dude.
Come on, Chase.
Come on, Chase. I'm free next weekend. What do you guys head on out or what?
Hike.
I probably need to get back into cardio before I go there. So
yeah, we really should kind of plan ahead and make like actually something that we could film and something we could be out there.
That would be great. Yeah.
Make great. We've always talked about that.
I'd be so down for that. So.
Yeah. I like this part right here where I know it's towards the end. But for me, this film kind of reminded me of my first year in the subject matter. It just did, because I felt like your character is kind of struggling to figure out, you know, what is this thing? He gets, you know, he's watching, listening to people. But this part right here is just awesome, man.
Play it up.
So he had this little fire, and then the fire gets bigger, and there it is, standing right there. You know what? That's what I want. Can I get that? I probably won't be doing that though.
Right. That was the quintessential. I think most like storybook, fairy tale version of what could happen. You know,
because your fire was tiny. I mean, I didn't play the whole scene. The fire was tiny,
right?
And you see the glow come up, and you're getting up, and there it is. And I was like, that's some magical shit right there.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we use the old Jaws rule, you know what I mean, and getting it, you know what I mean, seeing it but not quite seeing it, you know what I mean, and really giving you the goods near the end.
I think you got some really great story out of
oh man, those guys killed it.
That's Ernie, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
Ernie and David.
And David.
Yeah.
They were, man, once
so glad they showed up.
The film was going to like work when I met all those guys, because that was still, you know what I mean, I didn't know if I was going to have enough like substantial stuff, and those dudes were not only have great stories, but are so like just charismatic and really real people, and can kind of just talk to you about it from different angles, and have you could just ask them questions and they can answer, you know what I mean? It's just when you meet too many people like that, it's crazy.
I want to see these pictures. I think Ernie's been holding
out.
I
knew it. Yeah, the ones from he talks about in there. I forgot afterwards because I was so kind of in a daze with it. I mean, we shot with Big Dog and with Ernie and David, both for like over an hour. Like, you know what I mean? Just talking to them straight. And which was really hard to edit down to making like a 7-minute scene with like all of them cutting back and
Give you
forth.
so much. Yeah.
That's what was like the majority of editing was trying to get. But I mean,
I know all about that, dude.
it's way better to have too much good stuff than not enough of the good.
Stretch out some mediocre stuff. Yeah.
I think you had some great encounter rehashes on this movie. I think it was great.
I want to get like the different angles and the different aspects from people that just kind of see small things to different, you know what I mean, to seeing full on.
Now you might get people like Darren that might go, I don't understand. Well, that's because you're not creative, Darren. So just sit down and drink some of your homemade wine.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a movie you have to sit and kind of really, you know what I mean? Nothing is really told. Like, you don't know anybody's names. You don't know any character. Like, my character doesn't really talk, but like maybe 4 sentences in the whole movie, maybe. And it also is one that like you have to sit with, you know what I mean? It's kind of, you have to have a little bit of patience. Like, it's not, we kind of wanted to make an exercise in kind of giving you a moment away from all the, like, just everything these days, you know what I mean? And the editing, I mean, I love fast editing and whatnot too. And just the, you know, the speed of life, but we kind of just wanted, you know what I mean? Cause in the woods and doing like whatever that guy's doing, a lot of it is going to be waiting, and a lot of it, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the whole, even if you've seen one, you know, I'm sure it's been a long road leading there and a lot of time spent and a lot of kind of mundane hours and whatnot, you know? So that was the aspect we kind of.
And I don't know if you're willing to travel to Oklahoma or whatnot, but Brian and I, we were discussing and we kind of started planning for, you know, where we cast these tracks, we wanted to do a documentary on this area and this little town, because there's a lot of people out there that have seen these things over the years before I even knew what that town even started with, you know?
Yeah. And like one of the crazy things is, Chase, I called it's not even a city, right? It's just a little town. And I was like looking for a place that we could hold a, you know, like a little meet and greet.
Like a town hall
type deal, yeah.
Right.
And the lady goes, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, we want to just have some of your local people come in. And I said, and you're going to laugh. I was like, but we want to talk to see if anybody's seen Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And she literally goes, oh, okay, yeah, we know all about Bigfoot here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? She goes, we've all seen it, heard it. She goes, we'll let you have the building for free. Like, she offered up this building for free. So it's like all we're waiting on is to show up and put this thing on, you know? So I think it'd be cool. So
Dude, that would be awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of small towns like that are, I mean, almost everybody there knows about it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of Indian reservations like that. And I mean, there's a lot, you know, that, I don't know. It,
you know what they didn't know about? The lion.
Yeah, man. But yeah, well, let's get together and plan something on that, because I'd like to follow up. I kind of
some more information on that, dude.
Beautiful.
I will.
I'd like to just like explore the, you know, this film was definitely set in like what it was supposed to be, and it's pretty much, you know, our point of view of Sasquatch as human beings, like, you know what I mean, and like how we view it, and talking to different people and how they view it. And the kind of second film that's almost not, it's not even like a sequel, or it's part of the same story, but it's the exact opposite of Sasquatch's point of view of us, pretty much.
I was thinking that,
which you can imagine is way more expensive to shoot than, you know what I mean, having a bunch of human beings around than, you know what I mean.
Well, if you need a Sasquatch, I know a guy.
Beautiful.
Just saying, I know a guy.
I'm gonna need a few, so let me get that number.
Okay, I know 2.
Hey,
I have 2. There he is. There's the big red, and then I got his cousin. And
beautiful.
Yeah, and we can definitely arrange that. So.
Yeah, man. This next one would be like, yeah, it would. I mean, be far and away like the the coolest Sasquatch film ever made. Like it, it just the possibilities of it is too cool. And I've already like drawn out and like made an animatic and just put it to music and whatnot already, and it's just
that's what you do, man. That's
gotta
what
make
I'm
the
talking
money
about.
to put it on film because it will it'll be something else. Because we tried to take this one to some festivals and whatnot, and and granted, I mean, like it just there's not too many festivals that are that interested in Bigfoot, so they have it pretty.
Yeah.
They're pretty yeah.
Bigfoot doesn't exist.
A certain kind of tone, you know what I mean? They have their own
that geotone
of what the kind of films they're trying to put on there. So, but yeah, man, something big is on the horizon. But I definitely, I mean, I'd also love to, I mean, even make a series of kind of like shorts or stuff. You know what I mean? Of just kind of doing the same thing as the film, but just doing really cinematic retellings of different people's.
Oh, and I like that you did the extended interview stuff too. That way.
Oh, yeah, I just released that last week.
That's
I haven't got to watch that yet. So
there's just too much good stuff. You know what I mean? That was the hardest part because I think the film when we first cut it was 77 minutes, which is still, I mean, it's a really tight. I mean, the lowest you can go is 70 minutes and it still be a feature film, So, but it was just still a little, some of the scenes just dragged and they were just, even if it was great information, especially for people who are not super into Sasquatch or, are kind of coming to the subject, it would be probably a lot for them. You know what I mean? So we kept cutting and we got like a 55-minute version and eventually got it down to 52 because it was just wanted it to really be tight. And because the film kind of, sits and kind of makes you be patient for long points, you know what I mean? For kind of like the fire scene, different points where you really kind of, that I wanted it to be a very like short film. So we'll test you and letting you sit there for a long time, but I didn't want to keep you there for 2.5
It's very cerebral. I enjoyed it. I also enjoy just my own mind. So Brian.
Hey, man, that's the most cinematic place ever is in your mind. Man.
I enjoy your mind too.
You enjoy my mind? Hey Chase, so
anybody could see the films in your head,
I'm working on this for Lyle Blackburn's Monster Sauce, just something I wanted to do for him. But just to let you know, man, like I do animation stuff. I could help you out if you needed. Like this is just my opening shot of the monster. He's gonna be walking towards the camera.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I love After Effects.
Yeah, I love your art, man. Yeah,
thank you.
Shameless plug for
Monster Sauce.
There we go.
Brought to you by Monster Sauce.
Yeah. Shameless plug. So
beautiful, man. Yeah, we right before this, my friend, one of our other filmmakers, was showing me a really awesome animatic he's working on for another project we have coming up that he's gonna blow the hatches off everything pretty much, you know what I mean? So but yeah, dude, that's I love your work too, man.
Thanks, man.
Different designs, and it's always helpful to have an artist in the group to get the logos done.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Everything y'all make has a great artistic sense or has a great logo. Yeah. I'm always like,
yeah.
I
work hard, man.
All Shane. He gets those royalty checks though. They're just coming in by the
they're just coming in by the boatloads. I don't even know what to do.
I don't even know what he spends all that money on. So
making that money.
We can't print it fast enough for him.
God.
He spends it just as quick as he gets it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're rolling in it from this one. We are, you know what I mean? Just no. But yeah, so eventually we tried to think of all the different, because we took it to festivals and it really didn't, wasn't really, part of a festival circuit and whatnot. And we kind of talked about different versions. And I was like, I'm just putting it on YouTube and you know what I mean? It's all the best stuff is like that out there. But that's kind of shows you how dedicated people are. All the best stuff you can find, like all the best information on this, you can pretty much find for free with people talking and sharing with each other. And all the people that came and told me stories, like we all did it for free. It was all of either spending money or it was free, you know what I mean? Together as just like a project and I was like, that's the best. I just want everybody to see it and open a dialogue, and just
There you go.
hopefully, if you're like me, you want to see like something different in a Bigfoot film. You know what I mean? That it accomplished that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to your next work, man. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And
So,
work to come.
yeah, man, we'll definitely have to get involved and start something over there, and I'd love to do some documenting of.
yeah, come
I think it's
at
an
least
interesting
check out
little
the area.
town.
Yeah, come check
Mhm.
it out anyways, you know?
It's
So,
the best part. I mean, capturing an atmosphere and like authentic people. You know what I mean? It's kind of
They're authentic.
most you can hope for. You know?
but we need to do that town hall, and I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe we can time all that up and come out and take a look. So
Yeah.
It would be awesome. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, brother. That was a fun one.
Well, dude, I'm gonna I'm gonna blast this thing as much as I can for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think
Sure.
people need to
Yeah,
see.
we'll be trying to kind of bring it a few places and kind of release extra materials and kind of smaller subjects to keep the buzz up on that. But we also have kind of a few all the rest of the projects, in different subject matter and whatnot. Like the thing we made before this was a documentary about a jiu-jitsu practitioner. You know what I mean? So the next one's like a drama kind of science fiction that takes place in Galveston, Texas. You know what I mean? And has a bunch of really comedic and like hilarious elements to it, and is a really great piece. So we're kind of that's the kind of cool part about having each one of us have a different project. You know what I mean? So you get a different variety of subject matter and tone.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely be working on those, but I'm always planning the next thing. There's just too much like cinematic opportunity for like it's always kind of blows my mind that no one's really taking advantage of it. And I get, you know what I mean? It's not like a subject, you know what I mean? That like I said, a lot of people treat it like it's kind of schlock or it's like something to not take seriously, which is kind of one of the reasons I was like, I want to make like an art picture, like a picture where we just took it really seriously and tried to, you know what I mean, on Bigfoot, like, you know what I mean? So everybody just kind of treats as like a movie character or like an icon to like sell things, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Oh, there's your.
Oh, hello.
We got kids running all around here.
Oh man, you wearing AC/DC? That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Rock and roll. Yeah,
You're rocking it.
they're wild. Yeah, they were. Yeah, that was an interesting time making a Bigfoot film and like having kids for the first time in the same. Like it's a very interesting 2 or 3 years of life. You know what I mean?
Kind of juggle all.
Dude. And I bought more plaster because I wanted to make more replicas. I made replicas for all the guys. I think I've made like 20 something.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I haven't sold any. I give them to people. I'm gonna get you one, Chase.
Dude.
I think Chase should definitely have one.
That would be awesome, man. Yeah, having you guys have those tracks like in the film and stuff was like brought legitimacy because I wanted to like kind of pepper it through the entire film, just different pieces of evidence, like, you know what I mean? Like the map in the film is like accurate like accounts showing you across the entire United States, and a lot of those are just like representing an entire area where there's multiple, you know what I mean, and the entire thing's covered. So then cutting to you guys' tracks. Oh, wow. Cutting to you guys' tracks, it just brought it all to real life. You know what I mean? It's kind of those little things that I wanted to bring people in with like a cinematic telling of something, but kind of make them like so many points have to catch themselves in the film and be like, okay, that's got to be real. Like, you know, if they're really paying attention, like, and look, these, you can tell, like, if you're watching that movie, you're like, you see that?
Did you see it?
What's it? What?
What's up? Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I really
she's like, that guy's
just be in the middle of the film, be able to, you know what I mean? If you're paying attention, you got to be like, there's no way these are like actors right now. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of it, and they should kind of throw you off and kind of bring a different level to the just watching the film. You know?
Yeah.
You're chill with him. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah.
I'll stay in touch with you, dude, because I want to kind of discuss this other thing.
For
where
sure.
we cast these tracks and
looking to
Brian too.
Talk and get on the next project, man. I'd love to.
Yeah, just something to think about and do.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to besides that, or is there any other projects on the horizon, or what do you got?
I'm heading out next weekend, I believe, to Sam Houston.
Where you going? You going next weekend, Sam Houston?
Not this weekend, but the following
Valentine's weekend.
Is that the
Jen gonna allow that?
Oh shit!
That's where we shot a bunch of those.
I just saved your marriage, buddy. Literally just saved your marriage.
Yikes!
Yeah, you might want to rethink that one, bro.
Okay, I retract.
You'll be out there every weekend. She's gonna cut you loose. You go on Valentine's Day weekend. Come on now.
Oh man.
Yeah,
it's clutch.
Ooh.
Telling you, always looking out for you, brother. Always looking out.
But what if it's my Valentine's gift?
Yeah, you gotta bring her out there.
Okay.
My wife does not want to be anywhere near the woods. Not like that. Not looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Man, I've probably heard like 7 different people's sightings and stuff in Sam Houston. Like that's where we shot a bunch of stuff too, because we just couldn't find
I thought it looked a little familiar.
Yeah, a bunch of those big woods shot where you see those big trees and whatnot. A bunch of the wood stuff is shot a bunch in Jefferson, because that was like we went there and like I learned a lot of things. We realized we weren't going to be able to shoot, so we were like, all right, let's go in the woods and like shoot a bunch of stuff too. You know what I mean, just in case. And then over there in Sam Houston, man, that was the one we went out there in the day and shot first, just me and my cinematographer. And just got a bunch of the like B-roll and establishing shots and all that. And then we had planned for, 4 or 5 guys to come out there and shoot some of the different retelling scenes and whatnot by campfire and stuff and kind of be there all night. And we left we had been there shooting for a while, and it was, man, when you get way out there and you're in this, like it really is crazy, like how silent it is. And so there was kind of an eeriness to the vibe there already. And we went back down, like 10 miles or so out of there to like the small little town there, and went to a gas station and kind of got some food as it was getting dark, and we're calling all them and trying to see when to meet up. And when we drove back down that road in the night again, like there was just, I don't know, there was something creepy about that, man. And just knowing that we were about to be there way out there in the middle of the night filming. And that was kind of my first, I'd been filming this thing for months and months. And that was kind of my, like, oh, wow, this is the first kind of actual chance for something could be around or something. And so it felt pretty real. Me and him were both sitting in the car in that complete darkness when you get all the way to the end at that little turnoff at one of those park areas. And there was like one creepy guy just sitting in his car over next to it. So we were kind of sitting there for a few seconds, and then we were just like, all right, got to get out. And we just got out and started making the fire and everything. Once we get the fire going, it like felt good. And the guys got there about an hour later, and we shot for the whole night, but there's a certain vibe out there, and just knowing the different people I've talked to and people I've heard of the things they've seen out in those specific woods is,
Heck yeah.
it really is a large amount of areas.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
Great having you. So great talking to you.
Yeah, it's been a great time. We'll definitely have to do something soon.
Cool. Yeah, sure. For sure, man. All right, man.
Appreciate you, fellas.
Well, all right. Thank you, bud.
Chat at you later there, Chase.
Have a great evening.
You too, man.
We'll see you, bud.
All right, man. Whoop. Hey, you can't remove, man. Did you remove?
Oh, okay. I clicked remove and you clicked add at the same time.
Oh, man. There's too many Chiefs.
I'm not going to say that's not politically correct. I got to be careful, man. I'll get us.
Dude, I was talking about the football team. What are you talking about, man?
Oh, okay. Too many Chiefs, not enough Eagles? Is that what you're saying? Oh, you like that? like that.
Oh my God.
Appreciate that. Appreciate the
Oh,
compliment.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Man,
Well,
interesting deal. So
yeah, man,
yeah.
that was great. It was a good movie, man. I dig it.
Yeah, I
like it.
need to watch with the added scene stuff. I haven't got to see that yet.
The
So
extended stuff. Just seeing
yeah.
Ernie. I mean, on
Oh
camera
my
with
God.
his
You could do a whole show
luscious,
with Ernie. You know what I
luscious
mean?
white
You
hair
literally
flowing.
could do a whole show about Ernie and just his antics. You
Remember them
know?
old books that women used to read that had like the Fabio character and his hair's blown and shit? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah, for
we need to get
sure.
Ernie like that, man. We need to get Ernie.
A Bigfoot love story
And like
starring
two
Ernie
Bigfoot women are holding his legs at the bottom, like,
That'd be
it would
perfect.
be awesome, man.
That'd be perfect.
He can wear his Michael Myers jumpsuit.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Oh,
Um,
uh,
Gotta watch that movie. Yeah, you should. You should, man. It's very cool. Very cool. Ernie is Raiden's father.
Raiden's
Okay.
father, Ernie. Harlequin romance. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, hell. All right,
oh,
man.
all right, buddy. Anything else good for you? We got
Uh,
anything we need to
well,
cover next show or anything like that? We scheduled anything? We haven't scheduled anything yet, have we?
mm-mm,
We taking a
not
break?
yet.
We on hiatus again? What are we doing?
No, man. Just I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. Just
Who-
got to find
Whoever
a
happens
little.
to come our way,
Yeah, whoever happens to come our way and wants to come on and
whoever
chat,
wants
let's
to be
talk
on the
about it.
show right
Let's talk
now,
about it.
message Shane or I, and we'll make it
Yeah,
happen. How about that? We'll just do that. We'll put it out there.
we're
Who wants
not
to come
mean.
on? No,
Arr.
no,
Oh.
we're not jerks.
Well, I could be a dick sometimes.
Oh,
Well,
oh,
sometimes.
it's after 8. You can use that word.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
do
all the
that.
kitties are asleep.
All the kitties are
Yeah,
asleep. Yeah.
yeah, you could definitely use that language after 8 p.m. for sure. Yeah, we'll just put it out there. See who wants to come on,
All right, man.
and then so you guys are heading maybe to Sam Houston in 2 to 3
Yeah,
weeks.
and she already said it was cool. So.
Oh, she did.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Adidas alert.
That makes me feel like I need to get in the woods again.
I think Mr. Bill's going.
Sweet.
I think some guys from the Taps group
Okay.
are headed out there.
Probably too big of a trip for me. I've been on the road a lot lately.
Yeah, you have. I've been at home too much.
Yeah, and I was at Squatch Creek a couple of weeks ago, right? I went down there and told you guys what I saw and things like that. So I might make another pass through there just because of all the weather we've had. So
Yeah, I'm ready to get out there myself.
I might swing through there and just have a little looky loo, you know.
Everything's nice and saturated, and
Yeah, for sure. So I run down there and take a look at it. So older brother, cool. Okay.
yeah,
But
man.
yeah, we'll go from there, man. So
Boom.
there you go. I
Contact
like
us to come
that.
on, but there's no information. Contact us on the Cryptoholics page. Say, hey,
yeah,
what about
that
me?
or send us a message on Messenger, either personal or to the Cryptoholic, whatever.
Yeah, no matter.
You know, courier pigeon, whatever it is, your choice of communication. You know,
Smoke signals.
yeah, whatever you got to do. You know, comment here, whatever. So, I don't know. I don't have anything else. Do you?
Oh, man. Not at this moment in time.
Chase commented on the private
I
chat.
gotta make another whiskey because I don't have to go in till late tomorrow. So, oh yeah, y'all be sure to check out the Elder Brother full film. I'm gonna put the link below all of our broadcasting stuff.
Comment.
So.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Make that convenient for everybody. So.
Yeah, man.
All right, brother.
All right, man. I will talk to you later.
All right, buddy. I'll let you do all the clicking. I'm just going to
man. All right.
Look ugly.